is projected through our body language, through our gestures, movements, and our voice. Those are mostly done subconsciously and are therefore a lot more accurate than our words. Understanding body language helps us see what a person really means, how they really feel, and to understand whether they're telling the truth or not. It helps us to understand the hidden message. There are more connections between our brain and our hands than with any other part of the body, and that includes men as well. So, we can tell a lot by looking at the person's handshake itself. If, for example, a hand is offered to us like this, it shows that we are dealing with a bossy and dominant individual. Hence the expression, "I've got the upper hand." An extreme example from history of that behavior was Adolf Hitler with his signature salute, which conveys dominance and power. On the other hand, if a person offers their palm upwards, it means we are dealing with a submissive individual who will let us take control over the situation. A good idea when presenting ourselves, if we want to convey that we respect others and expect the same, would be to hold our palm leveled with a firm grip that matches the other person's. Because a power of grip is also a strong indicator. If our palm gets squeezed really, really hard, that again tells us that we are dealing with a bossy person who likes to manipulate with people. On the contrary, if a hand is offered to us like this, with no grip at all, and we feel like grabbing a cold fish, well, that could either mean that that person has no interest in talking to us, or they are extremely shy. When we are doing a presentation, a good idea is to keep an open stance with palms upwards, because from ancient times, showing our palms is an indicator that we are approaching and we hold no weapons in our hands, and therefore we convey an open, friendly attitude which is unthreatening, and the results are therefore better. Sometimes, however, sharper gestures and more direct body language is appropriate. Policemen, firemen, or coaches in the sports field have to convey their message faster, and therefore they need to use more sharper body language and in a more direct manner. We are hardwired to protect ourselves when facing a dangerous or uncomfortable situation. Therefore, we tend to protect our vital organs, which we do like this, our lungs and our heart, because this then shows us that this person is in a defensive or negative attitude. There are, again, more subtle ways of displaying that attitude, such as a man, for example, could play with their watch, or finger, or ring, and then again we've got the hand, which is covering our chest. Women, on the other hand, tend to hold their elbow, or use their purse, wallet, or a glass, which they hold with both hands, and again, create a physical barrier, which creates a feeling of safety. If a member of your audience has crossed arms, it could either mean that, well, it means that they will not believe you as much, they will not remember as much, and they will be less receptive to the message you are conveying. In fact, they will be 38% less receptive. Or maybe they are just cold. We must always observe the body language, facial expressions, and their words in context, so we can understand the full picture. A word about using gestures. This gesture, for example, would in most Western countries mean okay, but it stands for zero in France, it means money in Japan, it describes a gay in Greece, and is considered offensive in Turkey and Brazil. So make sure to do your homework before going abroad and using any of those gestures. Our body follows our emotions, and vice versa. We can influence our mindset with certain postures or behaviors. With that, I mean that it is impossible to be depressed when you have your head up. That's why we say to a person when we want to cheer them up, we say, keep your head up. Again, it is really hard to feel down if you're standing up with your hands above your head, like a winner in the sports field. It is really hard. And last but not least, you feel better, you look better, and even your voice sounds nicer if you put a genuine smile on your face. Last but not least, if anyone has interest in researching this subject further, I would advise you or encourage you to grab the book that Alan and Barbara Pease wrote, which is titled The Definite Book of Body Language. Or if you do not like reading, there's a lot of content on this subject on YouTube. However, for conclusion, a fun fact and a question for all of you. How can you tell when a politician is lying? That's right, when their lips are moving. Thank you very much.